What if you could make gifts that truly touch the hearts? What if your handmade gifts would be kept forever as treasured keepsakes? In this video, I'm going to share with you all my tips to create a perfect project for your loved ones. Now, the secret lies in how you create your project, not just what it is. There are a few things that you can choose that will make your project outstanding to the eyes of your loved ones. Now, you don't have to do every single step that I'm advising you. You might want to just pick one or two, but just know that considering each of them is going to make that project very special. So the first step you want to do is consider, what does your loved one are looking for? What do they need right now? Picking the right project and some things that they do need is going to make such a big difference. I have an example for you. My friend, she was looking for a cloche hat, and she had been looking everywhere on creators market, in shops. She couldn't find anything. And she told me the only hat she was finding were the one for the winter, and they were wool made, and she wanted a summer one, so she was worried it would be too warm for her. So I went on a lookout to find the perfect pattern to make her a summer cloche hat. And I gifted her one, and she was appreciative. First of all, she didn't think I would remember that, and she couldn't believe that I created one from scratch just for her. A second thing that you could consider is the passion and interest of your loved one. If there's some things they really care about, you could include it either in the pattern, in a drawing on top of it. There are all sorts of ways that you could include that in the project, picking a pattern of fabrics that would resonate with that. And that's going to make the project even more special. An example for that would be my son is passionate about birds, and I needed for him a sweater. I do sweaters for my kids every year for winter. I needed a sweater that had rascals all around the yoke, and that turned out beautifully. He loves it so much. I'm sure he's going to treasure it for years. Another way you can create the perfect present would be to include the name of your loved one in it. And that's going to make the present really special. I have this example in mind. I made some ceramic bowls for my family-in-law for Christmas one year, and each of the bowl had a little picture on them, and they had also the name of the person written on it. They loved it, and in response they actually asked me to make some customized bowls for their friends as well, which I did, obviously, but that shows how deeply they cared and they appreciated the gift. Now, I want to emphasize that you do not have to do everything. You don't have to include some images of their passion, include the names. You don't have to do it all, but picking maybe one thing might actually make a difference in the project. Another thing I wanted to touch on is the quality of the materials you're going to pick. I really encourage you to pick some natural materials for many reasons. One of them would be that it's going to be nicer for you to work with natural material. It's actually smoother on the hands. It's a much nicer feeling. And if it is for you to work with that natural material, it is also for the wearer. So if you're making something that your friend or family are going to wear, it's definitely going to be a nicer material to wear every day in terms of the heat regulation, the smell, and also the washing. Because synthetic fabrics are gonna wash out some fibers in the machine every single time they wash, the fabric tends to deteriorate in the long run. So even if your loved one was really thrilled with their new sweater or scarf, maybe it's not going to look that good after a while, and they will have to throw it away, even though they really liked it. So consider what you're using. Try to find natural options if you can. Local options are also a great choice, and it's always nice to give a bit of story behind the project if you can. So if you pick, for example, some yarn from a local farmer's, then it's a great story to add when you gift the present. Making a craft when you have someone in mind is really pouring love in every single step. And I do believe that considering all these different steps along the construction of the project, even before you start, is actually making it even more meaningful. Now, in terms of creating the project, another thing I wanted to talk to you about is picking the colors. If that the person you have in mind have a favorite colors, it's a great opportunity to explore it and to find variations, maybe compatible colors to work with. Fun fact, colors are going to look way better if you use natural materials. So go for it, explore colors. And again, you don't have to do it all. Maybe concentrate on just one or two things that I suggested and think about that project. And that's just going to be a fantastic way to pour all your love and thought into it. Now you have created that perfect gift. You're so proud of it. You think your friend is going to love it. The next step and final step I want to help you consider is how you're going to present the gift and make it outstanding. Now, the way you're going to wrap it is going to transform the entire experience. There are tons of ways you can do. You could use some nice piece of fabric to just wrap it and make a knot with it. Or you could also use some pretty tissue paper. It's going to look great as well. Think about it, like how to bring it to another level. And another idea I want you to consider is to create a handmade card. You could draw on it, you could just simply write something, but I would invite you to consider bringing a little of background story behind the project. So maybe on your card you could write how you picked the image on it, or why you picked that particular color, or like I was telling you with my friend, why did I pick that hat particularly? Because she had mentioned it and I wanted to make her happy with it. And another thing you could consider, I did that with my niece. I made a handmade doll and I actually created an adoption card for her. In that card, I included the name, I included how she was made, where she was born, how to care about her because she was natural fiber. You couldn't really wash her or you couldn't brush the hair in the same way. So I included those technical aspects. And that brought that doll to life, kind of doll. She's been cherished like for years, and I'm sure she will stay as part of my niece's world forever, even though she doesn't play with her anymore. So yeah, something to consider. Create a handmade card. Think about how to bring more life into the project and help your loved ones see the true value of your project. Considering every single step of that project for your loved one is really going to transform the experience from a regular handmade project into a perfect project, something really designed with thoughts and care and love. And I can't see why your loved one wouldn't appreciate it to its true value and would want to throw it away, because that's just the worst, right? We spend so many hours making something. We do want our loved ones to really treasure our project. Now, if you're interested, I've created a thoughtful guide with all these different steps in details, and you can just download it just below the video. I'll share the link.